hello, hello. Welcome. It has been a hot minute since we've met.
Yes, it has.
Yes, lots of stuff going on. Let's maybe take a few minutes and get caught up. What's going on with you, Carrie?
Let's
How was
see. This past weekend, my brother and I went to, let's see, it was the Bluegrass Museum in Owensboro, Kentucky.
nice?
And we saw Ricky Skaggs do his Christmas concert,
Yeah,
Cool.
which was fabulous. Just fabulous. It was all, bluegrass, but it was Christmas songs. And the museum was great. We stayed in a great hotel right there next door to the venue. And it was on a riverfront, and they had it all decorated for Christmas. And we were on like the sixth floor, and you could overlook riverfront, and it was gorgeous. It was great. We were just there for like not even 2 days. It was just a little short jaunt because it was like 3 hours away from here, from Nashville. But it was just a lot of fun. And I like good music. So
Yeah.
my roots are kind of in country slash bluegrass, that kind of music. But when you're young and a teenager and kind of wild, you don't appreciate that heritage or whatever. And so as I've gotten older, I appreciate it a lot more. So it was great.
Nice. Sounds like fun. How about you, Renee? What's up?
no, not much, just work. But it makes me think, Carrie, one of the first concerts I ever saw was Johnny Cash.
Wow.
And when you're a kid, you don't understand what you're seeing.
Yeah.
Right.
And as an adult, you're like, oh my gosh, like my parents were amazing to take me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
That's funny you say that because my aunt was like in the outskirts of the country business and the music business. Like she opened for some big acts and stuff. And I remember I got to go backstage at the Grand Ole Opry and met like, Ernest Tubb and just all these kinds of people, which, I didn't really know. Yeah, I just didn't think, I certainly wasn't a brat or rude or anything, but I just didn't understand the importance of
right.
meeting people like that and
Yeah.
seeing. Yeah.
It's like someone as a kid meeting Elvis.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't really appreciate it until you're older.
Right. I never had the opportunity to meet him, but
I have my dad's cousin he doesn't call himself a violin player. He calls himself a fiddler, but
fiddler.
he's like high level, and he played with Elvis, and he's like, people in the country music, like longtime country music industry and stuff would know him. He's old now, but he played with Elvis. But
I'll have to get his name. Do I have a pen? Because my dad would probably know who he is. My dad was like kind of on the outskirts of the business too.
his name is Huey Lynn Smith.
Huey Lynn Smith.
Yeah. So Dave and I went and saw the graves of Johnny Cash and June Carter Cash when we were in the Nashville area. We didn't know that we didn't do it on purpose, but Dave and I were out geocaching.
Okay.
And I always actually really I love cemeteries. It may be a weird thing, but I love cemeteries.
I do too.
I do
Not
too.
only do I find them really peaceful and often very beautiful and nice places to go walk, but then I love the geocaches that are in cemeteries because they take you to the graves of interesting people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we've done many of them, and lots of times when we're at a new place, if I see there's one in a cemetery, I'll be like, "Yeah, let's go do that one." And
Kinda cool.
yeah, so this is what this one was. It wasn't one where you actually go find a physical cache. It's one where you have to answer questions at the different locations. And so we went to the cemetery, and it was these different country music people. And then the last stop was the graves of Johnny Cash and June Carter Cash. I was like, oh my gosh.
Wow.
In, Carrie?
I have not. Well, wait a minute. I take that back. I have been to their graves, and they used to live in Hendersonville,
Jason.
Tennessee, is where they lived, which is right down the road from where I live and from where I grew up. And I remember we used to drive. They lived off by the lake over there,
Yeah,
And
my
so
nephew
we were,
and his family live in that area, so we were on the way to go see them when we stopped by.
oh, how wild.
Yeah,
Small
yeah.
world.
Yeah, yeah, really cool. So their gravesite is really beautiful and big.
Did you get a chance to visit the Hermitage, home of Andrew Jackson? That's right down the
Yeah,
road from me.
we
Yeah.
were there a shorter period of time. We figured we're gonna be back again in May
Yeah.
for meat stock in Tennessee at least, but maybe not in Nashville. But we want to spend more time in Tennessee and
The Hermitage is amazing. And then there's a smaller home that he had built for his wife Rachel. And so they're right there, like together, like the Lebanon Road like separates the two homesteads. It's just awesome.
yeah, it's cool just to go to new places and explore and do things and stuff. And so we've been since we met, I've been to Hack Your Health,
Right.
and Dave and I spent 2 weeks in Florida.
Mm.
I got my first carnivore cold. Like, I don't know. Okay, so the Adam's theory is that it was just too many stressful things going on at once. And because we were in contract on the 28-acre property with the crazy Frank Lloyd Wright style house.
Yay!
It has never been updated since it was built in 1979. We are in contract. We got a full price offer on our house, but the people buying our house have to sell their house. There's no more contingencies after that. It's like, we're not going to create this domino of contingencies. So we just have one more step, which is for them to sell their house. And then, yeah, but we're going to probably end up moving, probably late January, which is not what we like.
Cold.
Yeah, yeah. So, someone's asking us, what are we talking about? Like right now, we're not talking
Yeah,
about
no.
what purposes. So we can definitely segue into that. But I do want to share one more little thing. And then we'll segue into the topic of what we're discussing. So one thing I should have done this a long time ago, because I've had my genetic data and my strategy report for like a year at least that I got. So I pulled my data off of ancestry.com. I paid the $100 and got the strategy report, which is so thorough. It's a 124-page report. But it can be kind of complicated. And so I took my strategy report and I asked AI to analyze it for me. Not that I'm going to use that as the go-to, like, be all end all,
Right.
but I was like, can you please analyze this, pull out? And I told it, okay, these are some symptoms I'm still struggling with. Can you tell me, are these explained by some genetic variants? And so it did the analysis, and it's every single little extra symptom I'm dealing with, yes, can be explained by the genetic variants. And it gave me a customized protocol of some additional supplementation to help support these pathways that aren't where I'm not breaking things down properly. Um,
Wow.
and so I ran that by my naturopathic doctor just to make sure, got the stamp of approval, because I'm not going to go make decisions based on AI, right?
Right.
So, but I ran it by him. He's like, thumbs up. So it's been about a week
Mm-hmm.
since I started this protocol. So I'm factoring in placebo effect because I'm like, yeah, and also there's been some days where I've been kind of fatigued. So I'm thinking if I'm detoxing better, there may be some things. So I'm watching. But one of the things I noticed, two things I've noticed. One is that my hands and feet are no longer cold. I was always cold. My hands were always like ice cubes, at least in the wintertime.
Yeah.
My hands are warm now. So
Wow.
something is happening. Like, that was not a placebo because I wasn't even anticipating that. And so something's being metabolized better, and I'm assuming my thyroid is being helped. And I have actually started losing weight again.
Wow.
I am
Yeah.
so happy for
Wow.
you. Oh my
So
goodness.
how many new supplements did they or did it or whatever recommend that you take?
it was probably like eight
So
different things.
so how many things did you start taking? Like, did you do one, like, are you doing like just one right now or two of them or?
No, I just started the whole protocol. At the same time, I just wanted to evaluate the protocol as a whole.
Yeah. Okay.
Assuming that there was some synergism between some of them, that they were working together. Um, yeah, so that's good. And I was also, so one thing that's to me is a scale victory, but it's also kind of a non-scale victory too, because it's like boosted my ego. I remember, I don't even remember, I need to go back and find the video where I was like, I'm now within 100 pounds of being of my husband, his weight. And I remember going, I only have 100 more pounds to go before I, weigh same as my husband, which, women hate weighing more than their husbands, right? I weigh 2 pounds less than him now.
Ah!
You could have led with that.
I know, I
Yeah.
know, I know. So yeah, so that's like, yay. It's amazing to me that it's like, wow, I don't feel like any time has passed. It's like, stay the course, everybody. It's like time passes no matter what you do. Time is
That
going,
is true.
you
Yeah.
know. So let's see. Oh, so what's the reason for doing this diet? Just weight loss? No, for none of us.
So much more.
None of us. Welcome, by the way. Appreciate you being here.
Yes.
So for me, I didn't realize that I initially thought it was just about weight loss, and I didn't realize it was about more than weight loss. But I went on it because I had to retire from nursing because I had a severe mast cell activation syndrome, and I was totally disabled, and I was getting worse and worse and worse. And my husband brought me the testimonial of Amanda from Carnivorous Me, and I saw how she reversed her rheumatoid arthritis, or put it in remission at least, got so much benefit. So I was desperate and willing to try this crazy way of eating, and it has completely changed my life. And the weight loss, I call it a happy side effect.
Yep.
Yeah. So I quit weighing myself at about 350 pounds, and was probably somewhere between, 350 and 360 at my top. And so the weight loss, I am 3 pounds shy of getting into the 100s. So I'm 203 as of this morning. And so I'm getting there. Yeah. And I
That
know
is
Renee,
amazing.
I know Carrie, it was for preventing diabetes because you watched it with your mother, Renee, and you want to share why you started it?
Yeah, same place that Lynn was,
Okay.
retiring medically from being a nurse because I had an autoimmune disease and I could barely walk. So I was using a cane and I was desperate. I was on my way to a wheelchair and I didn't want that to be my story. So we tried carnivore, and that we started March of 24, right? It's 25. Yeah. And by December of 24, I was in remission. And I mean, I'm still recovering, but like I don't use a cane anymore. And actually, I started sprinting.
Ooh,
I mean,
yeah.
I know. So I never thought, I never thought I was going to walk again, let alone be sprinting. So yeah,
So
carnivore.
Renee, I know that you had started, like, you changed some of how you were eating after you had your glucose, your continuous glucose monitor. So has that helped any, like, lowering the like actually upping the fat content, or did you keep doing that, or how's that going?
I am moderately eating protein, so I dropped my protein quite a bit, and I just ate enough fat to satiate. But I'm doing good. I've just been I've been watching my weights more than I've been, and my ketones, watching
Mhm.
them more than I've been watching my blood sugar, but I probably should be paying attention to my blood sugar sometimes. But once I dropped that protein from 170 down to like 100 at the
Yeah.
max, I wasn't spiking sugars anymore.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I remember you telling us about it before and that you had changed and noticed a big difference. I was just
Yeah.
wondering how that was going.
yeah. And for anybody who's new, just watching, dropping in and watching this, I don't think any of us are these like hardcore legalistic carnivores who
Nope.
say everybody needs to be carnivore. We're not. So we understand there's a spectrum when it comes to a proper diet, and we just happen to have, especially Renee and I, happen to had some pretty serious immune system issues, illnesses that required very strict. And I was on a very strict low histamine lion diet for over a year, and just ate, very fresh beef, lamb, salt, and water. And that really turned the corner for me. But we know that there's people that do well, can still do well on a ketogenic diet, low carb, high fat diet. It is a spectrum. So if we know that there's a lot of people out there that are super, super legalistic, but
Yeah.
I don't think we're like that.
And the one thing that I would like to say is that once I got the healing, so I was the same way, like lion for almost a year, and then started adding other meats back in. But I now have ferments, and I eat some olives and some pickles and some avocado. And actually, I eat homemade sourdough bread twice a month to push myself out of ketosis, because my primary care doctor wanted me to flex in and out twice a month. And I refuse to eat vegetables that have high carbs or fruit. So that's where I,
Yeah, because it can be very inflammatory when you have an immune system, problems with your immune system. So, yeah, absolutely.
so I didn't have to
For a
stay.
little bit of
I
my
didn't have to stay
before, just for anyone who's new too. So that was me before, but this is my rosacea, which was just an indicator of the inflammation in my body that was everywhere. Every organ was impacted with my illness, but it really showed on my face for sure. I was swollen, and my skin was in terrible condition. And that's actually like a year-old picture. So the weight loss has been nice. So, okay. So so we spent a little time getting caught up. We do that sometimes, but this is what this is all about. So we are going through this. So the textbook is called Ketogenic, The Science of Therapeutic Carbohydrate Restriction in Human Health. Also, I started the Nutrition Network courses, so I'm in the process of getting certified as a coach. So it's a lot of studying, and this is one of the books we're going to be studying. So to clarify, this is not a book club, so we don't read ahead. We read and discuss as we go. So this is a live stream for science nerds. So if you want to listen in, just hear the book. It is a very meaty book. It's a medical textbook, pun intended. We've gotten this far. We've been doing it for a long time. We're on chapter 3, which is the endocrine chapter. Let's see. Steadfast. I have never had one for body fat, only bone density. Oh, probably the SMART scale. Yeah. All right. Okay. Oh, a DEXA scan.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm getting caught up here with the, let's see, questions. Can you eat unlimited food on this or lose, and do calories still matter? It's not a straightforward yes and no question on that. I found that initially the best thing for me was to not focus on volume and restricting, because I was coming off of a major carb addiction and sugar addiction. So for me, making sure I fed myself well was really helpful for transitioning over. And I had so much weight to lose initially. The weight was just coming off. I've only had to really mix things up when the weight starts to stall. And I know our bodies do tend to want to settle into what we're doing. And so I've changed things now to where I mix up my macros. I mix up the quantity of food I eat. Sometimes I do OMAD. Sometimes I eat 3 meals a day. Sometimes I intermittent fast and have a 6-hour fasting window. Other times I don't. And so for me, mixing it up has been helpful. But I think it's very individual as far as customizing it to what works for you. What do you think, Renee, with your coaching? What do you find?
It's so hard to talk about calories, because calories really don't matter when you're not trying to eat the American standard diet. So I would just put calories out the window and just look at making sure that you get enough protein. And like 1.5 grams per kilo is,
An ideal body weight.
Yeah, of your ideal body weight is a really great place to start.
Yeah.
and go from there, and then just eat fat to satiate, to get to where you're full and you feel good and you feel like you're getting what you need.
Yeah, and some people need more fat depending on if you're trying to heal your nervous system, your brain, autoimmune
Mhm.
diseases initially. Sometimes you have to, or balance your female hormones if you're women. Sometimes you need to choose between weight loss and healing. Sometimes you don't. It depends on how your body responds, but the amount of fat you eat can really make a difference in your healing. So, yeah. So, okay. So we left off.
On
Um,
page 143.
yes, 143. And so, Carrie, do you want to start?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start. I think it's my turn. Okay.
Probably is.
Yep. All right. Medications that increase ketoacidosis risk. SGL2 inhibitors. These medications carry a risk of euloglycemic ketoacidosis. Therapeutic carb restriction alone cannot cause ketoacidosis, but it may enhance the risk posed by SGL2TI by lowering insulin concentrations because insulin inhibits ketone formation. SGLT2I induced ketoacidosis may occur with normal blood glucose concentrations, and this heightens the risk of ketoacidosis going unrecognized. Okay, so let's look at that again. Okay, so it says ketoacidosis may occur with normal blood glucose concentrations with the SGLT2I induced. Okay.
Yeah. So for people who are so normally ketoacidosis is not even a risk for regular type 2 diabetics. And
Mm-hmm.
because it's really just very rare, and it's more likely to happen with someone who's not controlling their type 1 diabetes very well, because it has to do with very low insulin and your blood sugar going high. But the point here is that people on these particular classes of medications, the medication is making your insulin levels go low. So you got to be careful with someone who's on these medications. Of course, and even people should, if they're on the medication, should be working with their doctor, but it's something to be aware of. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know that you could actually have the ketoacidosis with normal blood glucose
See,
concentration.
that's what caught my eye there because I was
Yeah.
like, what? Wait, what? Yeah,
I don't know. Have you heard of that, Renee?
Nope, I had no idea.
that's pretty wild. Okay. It is
Yeah.
worth noting that a very low carbohydrate diet, typically less than 50 grams of carbohydrate per day, can produce a physiologically normal state of ketosis that should not be confused with pathological state of diabetic ketoacidosis. And we actually have a family friend who was a physician who actually would get that confused. So it's out there, a medical person. And this is a very smart person, but they know better now. I mean, but anyway, despite recent literature supporting slight cardiovascular risk reduction and renal protection of SGLT2I, it is recommended that SGLT2I are used with caution in those adhering to a low carbohydrate eating plan. It is appropriate to stop these in many cases, particularly in those adhering to a very low carb, 30 to 50 grams per day. A GLP-1 agonist is a safer choice as a second-line agent after metformin. See
Okay.
Murray
I'm
et
interrupt
al.
for a second because
Yeah.
this comment came in. So I think GLP-1 and strict carnivore can cause ketoacidosis too. She knows someone, I assume you're a female. Hopefully I'm correct on this, but I don't know. Let me know if I'm wrong. I know she says, I know someone who did both and their CO2 levels went way under range and they had to go to the hospital. So that's really interesting to know, like, if that was a weird exception for this specific person, or if that's something that the medication was doing. I'd be curious
Or
because
even just the dosage.
I don't know, because this says it's the safer choice, but then again, also this book was written in what, 2015?
So
I'm thinking it came out later than that.
I have dealt with high ketones, like crazy high ketones
2023.
in the setting of GLP-1 use. So I mean, it does happen, especially if they're, a lot of people aren't hungry when they take the GLP-1, so they're barely eating the protein that they're supposed to be eating. They're barely eating anything, and then their ketones just keep going up, and they're not eating because they're not hungry, and the ketones can get to a point where they get sent to the ER.
So they're just not eating enough. So you have to be very careful on those GLP-1s because they are designed to repress your appetite. I mean, that's one of the side effects.
But you have to eat.
Yeah.
Especially to prevent muscle wasting, you really have to eat your protein because the GLP-1 will waste your muscle. It doesn't care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a cautionary tale,
Yeah.
Sure you're working with your doctor whenever you're changing your diet and you're on diabetic medication,
Yeah. Okay, so we have medications with minimal risk but little to no benefit. Okay. Thiazolinidones. I don't know how to pronounce that word. One of you can feel free.
Whoever named that is masochistic.
Yes, they are. Thiaz. We'll just call it the Thiaz for short. I don't know. These agents are safe to continue from a short-term perspective as they do not cause hypoglycemia. Concerns exist over their long-term safety, including risk of bladder cancer, heart failure, and reduced bone mineral density. Yikes. It is recommended to stop Thiaz. TZD. Okay, yeah, we use that. As soon as glucose concentrations allow. TZD are also known to cause weight gain.
Oh, please, let's all take that.
Archibose. Although Archibose is safe to continue while on a low carbohydrate diet, the benefits are much less pronounced because of reduced starch ingestion, so the patient can usually stop the medication. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So working with the doctor is super important.
Right.
More frequent monitoring.
Yeah, Mike, you're right. Poor Carrie got the pharma section. I think the last time I read, we were going through the list of medications and their indications, and I ended up with some of these same words. And no, I didn't learn how to pronounce them any better since then.
So ketoacidosis with normal blood sugar, how would this show up and why?
If we're referring back to that section before with the GLP-1s, I think that's what, or not the GLP-1s, but the other ones, the SGLT2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's what they were referring to, maybe because it was talking about that.
The ketones get really high. You're going to be symptomatic, though. So I think that's probably one of the first things to know is that you're not going to feel good. I honestly, it's weird because the fact that you would have low, your blood sugar wouldn't be high also is just strange, because usually when you think of ketoacidosis, you're thinking of people who are like their blood sugar is out of control.
Like a blood sugar of over 1,000. I mean, really high.
Yeah, super high. But yeah, I mean,
I guess it's the medication that just does it. It just causes that effect.
Yeah. I mean, this is all is theorizing because, I mean, until she mentioned that it was like that's happened to somebody, I didn't even know that could happen. Yeah. So it would just be a theoretical, but I would imagine you wouldn't feel good. Like she said that the CO2 levels went way down. I mean, your blood gases are going to be off. You're not going to be feeling good. Yeah. Let's see. So Mike says supercalifragilistic
ketoacidosis. That's fabulous.
Thanks for the levity, Mike.
Leave it to Mike. Yep, he's got it. He's still got it.
I love it.
He should have been a comedian.
Nurses in hospital give you a sugar injection.
lots of insulin injection.
Lots of insulin. Sometimes they have to use combinations of insulin and glucose to drive
It
things
depends
into
on
the
how
right places. Yeah, it's not always a bad thing,
high.
you know. So
Mm.
it's pushing your pushing everything into the right spaces. You've got intracellular space, you've got extracellular space, you've got your vascular spaces, and sometimes you need a combination of things in order to push things into the right space they need to be in your body. So using glucose in a situation where like that is not always a negative thing.
Right. And if they bring it down too fast, you can have brain swelling and have a whole lot of other issues that you don't want.
Ugh.
So they have to bring it down slow. So sometimes it's a fine mixture of how much insulin versus how much dextrose you're giving.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It really is a balance.
Yeah, yeah. But that's
Ooh.
why, I mean, the doctors know what they're doing, hopefully, and they're gonna keep you safe while getting you healthy.
Yeah.
So,
Mm.
okay,
All
cool.
right. So then we have medications that pose no excess risk with therapeutic carbohydrate restriction and may have benefit. Metformin is safe to continue and in some patients continues to offer favorable benefits. There is no hypoglycemia associated with metformin and neutral or minor weight loss. However, up to 25% of people experience gastrointestinal side effects from metformin. Then GLP-1 agonists, safe to continue. Benefits with TCR and total therapeutic carbohydrate restriction include increased satiety,
Satiety.
slow satiety,
Satiety.
slowed gastric emptying, and cardiovascular benefits. With sustained therapeutic carbohydrate restriction, people may be able to stop their GLP-1 agonist. However, guidelines encourage continued use for those with atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease or high atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease risk independent of A1C. For a detailed review of the multiple mechanisms of this class of medication, refer to the full review from Drucker. Then DPP-4 inhibitors are less potent than GLP-1 agonists, but safe to continue as they do not cause hypoglycemia and are weight neutral. Clinical experience from the international group of authors agrees that these seem to have little blood glucose lowering effect in the context of therapeutic carbohydrate restriction. A summary of medications for diabetes can be found in Table 3.5. Box 3.1 is a list of current published clinical guidelines on therapeutic carbohydrate restriction with medication reduction suggestions.
Okay, so there's some studies you can look at if you want to. I keep forgetting to do the slides so that we can see these things.
Yeah, it looks like there's some pretty good resources there.
Yeah.
All right, I'll read one more section here.
All right.
Individualization of therapy and the role of blood glucose monitoring. For those individuals who wish to adopt a very low carbohydrate diet or ketogenic diet, a significant reduction or complete discontinuation of insulin may be required. Self-monitoring of blood glucose or continuous glucose monitoring can be very helpful in providing rapid feedback on how foods affect blood glucose as a person adopts a low carbohydrate diet and to inform whether medication doses can be reduced further. There is evidence that frequent paired glucose testing is effective in supporting appropriate food choices regardless of the type of diabetes treatment. Patients on drugs that increase the risk of hypoglycemia should have access to rescue therapies, glucose tablets, gel, or glucagon, an adequate supply of testing strips, and immediate access to a member of the healthcare team. This is especially important at the initiation of carbohydrate reduction. Checking blood glucose for the purpose of feedback and behavior change can be extremely effective. It can be highly educational for patients to see how their own glycemic response to food correlated with how they feel. This is now possible with CGM technology and has recently become more accessible and affordable with improved CGM technology. Such systems can show the large post-meal glucose spikes and increased glucose variability that are common in patients who have standard high carbohydrate dietary patterns, are insulin resistant, and in later stage type 2 diabetes with beta cell insufficiency. The CGM can also show the impact of therapeutic carbohydrate restriction on reducing glucose spikes after meals. And I've actually been thinking on getting a CGM, especially after Renee's experience there, because I'm just curious. I in my mind, or just I guess I said in my mind, but and it could be in my mind, but I feel like my mental health and everything is better when I eat more fat and less protein. And
Yeah.
I can just tell the difference. Like I ate some chicken yesterday that was just totally unsatisfying and I didn't have enough fat with it. I know I normally don't eat chicken, but I did eat some and it wasn't satisfying. And I added like some butter, but it just didn't work. It no working.
I get in weekly Imperfect Foods, so order, and I customize it. Otherwise, they're going to send me a bunch of vegetables and stuff. But I thought I was ordering bone-in skin chicken thighs, and I got my order yesterday, and I didn't read properly. It was boneless, skinless, so I'm going to be in the same situation.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, I'm going to have to put
Make a
butter.
soup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this chicken, it did come with a broth, and so I did drink the broth, and the broth was very good. Like it was I can't remember now. It was something that my daughter had gotten me, but it was like sous vide. It was already sous videed basically. And then you just had to warm it up. It was like vacuum sealed, but it was sous videed and it had the juices in with it. And so actually the broth tasted very good, but it's just there was just no fat and I could tell the difference. I could just tell. It was wild.
Yeah, and I don't usually eat chicken very
On
much.
either.
Yeah.
Every day.
Do you?
Yeah, I eat chicken every day for breakfast. I have chicken thighs, bone in, skin on, chicken
Yeah.
thighs in my air fryer.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
I like chicken, although in the past, if I have to be very careful with chicken. It really needs to be that like good quality organic pasture raised chicken, because otherwise I've had times where my throat has swelled with eating chicken. It's caused an anaphylactic reaction for me, and it's just has to do with the quality of the chicken. So I'm careful. I'm better now. I think I can handle things better now than before, but I'm not gonna push it, you know. Just like I'm sure you've like we talk about being in remission, right? Not necessarily that we're cured.
Right.
I don't think that if I start doing the things I used to do, I'm gonna be okay. I'm not. I
Right.
still have to be careful.
Right.
Yeah.
And my husband and I, this is a constant conversation because my antibodies are 0 in my body, which means there's no sign of my disease. But my doctor uses the word remission, not cured, not gone forever. And I have this fear that if I ever go back to eating the way I was, or being, like I am so scared of it coming back
Me
that
too.
will keep me this way for the rest of my life. Like there is no option to not be this way.
I'm the same. I am too afraid, and it's not just
Mm-hmm.
the symptoms of my illness, it's also the addiction and my addiction brain. And so I gotta figure out both of those things. Like I may be okay symptom wise with my mast cell disease, but I could spiral out of control with the addiction.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not willing to take that chance. I've had too many times where I've been on diets,
Yeah.
and I've had progress and I allow myself one thing and
Yeah.
forget it. It's all
But
over.
not having depression and anxiety that has kept me in bed and made me like live a totally different life, like not having that anymore is huge. Being able
Yeah.
to get on a plane and go see my son and not have to be medicated or have a panic attack or, I mean, like all of that, I don't ever want to go back. I mean, truly, yeah.
Yeah.
Nope, me neither.
Same. Awesome. All right, Renee, do you want to pick up reading?
Sure. Antihypertensive medication adjustment. It is important to review the medication list for antihypertensives. Blood pressure will need to be monitored either at home or in the clinic during the initiation of the dietary intervention. Patients should be shown how to self-monitor their blood pressure and made aware of symptoms of low blood pressure, such as orthostatic hypotension, which is lightheadedness upon standing, or severe fatigue. These symptoms and/or systolic blood pressure below 120 mmHgs should prompt the reduction of antihypertensive medication. Hyponatremia may be exacerbated by SGLT2Is, thiazides, or loop diuretics. The initiation of the diet is associated with diuresis and natriuresis. Therefore, adequate sodium intake is emphasized to prevent dehydration and hypotension.
And for those who don't know, diuresis is excessive urination. Natriuresis is urination of sodium. So
Right.
it's basically saying, yeah, these medications can drop your sodium levels too low. Definitely not good.
Nope.
And it can also, the diet itself can cause these issues as well. So just the diet itself makes you urinate more at first and out your sodium, and then these medications can exacerbate that with this. You can bring your sodium levels down even lower.
And so that's one reason too why a lot of people recommend more salt and also like your electrolytes.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. A review in the Journal of Hypertension states, our analysis suggests that insulin plays a primary role in hypertension, highlighting the tight link between essential hypertension and diseases associated with the metabolic syndrome. Broth with sodium is a good remedy, as well as preventative measure in the initiation phase of the diet. Some patients with heart failure are salt sensitive, so monitor this subgroup closely or reduce diuretics judiciously instead of advising sodium-rich broths or foods. Tailor any reduction in antihypertensives to the patient's comorbidities. Results of Dr. David Unwin's 6-year observational trial showed a 10.9 mmHg reduction in systolic blood pressure and a 6.3 mmHg diastolic blood pressure reduction, despite a 20% reduction in antihypertensive medications.
Mm-hmm.
So your blood pressure is going down, even though you're not taking as much blood pressure medication.
Yep.
Yep.
Sounds good to me.
It sounds like a winning. It sounds like a win-win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as long as you're working with your doctor.
Right.
Not,
Don't ever stop your medication on your own.
Well, and it just goes to show that because your blood pressure continues to go down, even when the hypertensive medication is being decreased,
Right.
if you're not getting it decreased, it's going to be going down even further and risking you for a hypotensive event, which is not good.
Right.
So it's important to make sure you're working and getting with the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Other medications needing adjustment. If there is a significant change in intake of leafy greens or other foods containing vitamin K antagonists like warfarin will need frequent monitoring. Improvements in heartburn, gastroesophageal reflux disease may allow reduction or elimination of proton pump inhibitors, PPIs, or H2 blockers. Diarrhea predominant irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, may also improve with more bioavailable foods containing essential proteins and fats. Patients with polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is PCOS, may see an improvement in their condition with a return of fertility, so advice on contraception may be required. Migraines and inflammatory joint pains also may also improve and require medication adjustments due to the natural diuresis that occurs with insulin reduction. If loop diuretics are given for edema, these can be safely reduced or removed as the edema is monitored.
Yeah. I'm glad it brought up the leafy greens, because this is an area that, I don't hear a lot of people talking about. I bring it up every once in a while in the Q&As that I'm part of. And, but there are a lot of older people that are on warfarin or Coumadin. And, the instruction usually when it comes to diet is to just like maintain the same level of leafy greens that you would, in your diet. Don't have crazy fluctuations, because the vitamin K definitely can affect your blood, the interaction with it. So I think it's definitely important that if someone is on warfarin or Coumadin, that they be aware and work with their doctor. You got to get your INR checked while you're making the dietary adjustment. Make sure you're getting your medication dosing adjusted for sure.
I wish it would help my migraines.
Yeah, I know it helped.
Not there yet.
Jen Mann, her migraines went away.
Yeah, I just failed Botox. I've been getting Botox for the last 10 years, and I just failed it. So I just started taking Emgality, which is a monthly injection. It is the most painful injection in the entire world. I screamed.
Really?
I had one in each thigh, and my husband did it, and I literally screamed. It was so painful. I've never, and I
going in.
Yeah, it was. I imagine that's what potassium chloride would feel like.
Yeah, there's some biologics that are painful going into that. I remember I used to help, teach patients how to inject. But wow, that's crazy. It makes you wonder how it can be helpful if it's so painful when it gets exposed to your tissues. Does he have to put it in really slow?
It's a pen, so he just pushed the button and then it does its own thing, and you watch it. When the plunger's done, then you can take it off.
Yeah.
But it's just sub-Q. I mean, we're not even talking IM here, just sub-Q, and it was so painful.
Wow. Is it that for everybody?
I had the anthrax vaccine when I was in the military, and this was awful.
Wow. Do you know if it's that way for everybody, or is it?
So when I picked it up from the pharmacist, he was like, this is going to be so amazing. You're going to have complete control of your migraines. This is one of the best meds ever. And he said, but I used to give it to my pharmacy tech, and I'm going to tell you, it's the most painful one out there. And I was like, oh, it's like an EpiPen. He goes, no, you're not understanding me. He said, it is awful.
Wow.
So of course I went into it knowing that.
Yeah. You never knew, until you really experience it firsthand.
Right.
Wow. Is there something you can do ahead of time?
I just have to, it really truly was like a 5-second injection. But it was
5 seconds of absolute hell.
Yeah. Ugh. So it's only one a month. I had to do a loading dose. So I had to do 2 at once, but it's only one a month. So I'm just gonna have to grin and bear it and make my husband do it, because I will never put that needle on myself.
I would probably smack myself in the face while it's happening, just to hope the pain sensors are pushed away from the site.
Right. It's better than one migraine. I mean, if it works, it's better than having a migraine.
Yeah. Okay. Bill, how's it
drunk
for you?
Well,
Oh yeah, I did still get stress headaches, no vomiting in a year-ish. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's.
At least the vomiting part is gone. I mean, that would just be terrible.
I haven't. Now that you say that, I haven't vomited with a migraine in it since I became a carnivore. I didn't even think about that. I used to vomit all the time, and I have not vomited with a migraine.
I have gotten a little bit better.
Yeah.
At least I'm keeping
just more and more time,
It's bacon and beer. Okay.
Bacon.
I think he says bacon is better than beer, which that is true. I agree with that one.
Maybe if you put bacon on your leg and then inject through the bacon.
Yeah, anything is better wrapped in bacon, right?
Right.
Oh my word.
Oh, funny. Okay. Moving on. Other lifestyle interventions to affect IR and aid and medication reduction. Physical activity of all forms can assist insulin sensitivity. This can be just the general movement of walking or having an active day to directed aerobic type activity, as well as high intensity activity and strength training. Adequate sleep, reducing stress, emerging data on the microbiome, time restricted eating, vitamin D status, genetics, and multiple other modulators of IR and sensitivity are now being discovered and individually tailored by clinicians and patients. A summary of considerations given to type 2 diabetes medication under a low carb diet or a keto diet is given in table 3.6.
Okay, this table is so small.
It sure is. Like, I need a magnifying glass for that.
Yeah, I think even if I did actually have it open to show, it would not be helpful. It's basically the drugs, the diabetic drugs, what they do, whether there's risk for hypertension or not, and suggested action, like to whether to continue or to stop it, whether that's optional, whether you can continue it, whether you should stop it. I see that stopping and reducing are the dominant thing. Recommendation. Oh,
yeah.
Insulin. Yeah, they could have, like, seriously, they had more page. They could have made it bigger.
They sure could have. Then you could like make copies and have, you know, you could have it as a handout even or something, but
see
it's just tiny. And I mean, my eyes are still pretty good. And I mean, I can read some of it, but I can read most of it, but you have to go slow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
basically a summary of what we've read.
Yeah. It is.
I just need Mike to know that if I got drunk, yes, I would vomit.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Put that out there.
Yeah, we don't want vomiting.
No, we don't.
Says I would get sick 1 to 3 times a month. So when it stopped, I felt so weird, almost a new person. Yeah.
Yes. That would be so debilitating, you know, and just like even it would be this traumatic thing even of because I knew somebody who had headaches like that. And it's like it's coming, so it's like that dread just right away because you know how it's going to progress. It's just
yeah, I get my Aura and I take my medication and then I do everything I need to do in the next half hour for the next couple of days because that's what I have a half hour. And if I didn't catch it in time and it becomes a full-blown migraine, then I've lost the next couple of days.
Wow.
So
crazy. All righty. We got a summary.
All right. And I'm sorry if you hear my dogs, they decided to play right next to me.
That's okay.
of course.
Total carbohydrate restriction is increasingly popular and effective option for managing type 2 diabetes and can lead to an improvement in the condition, reduced medication burden, and contribute to significant weight loss. A recent qualitative review reports medication reduction to a primary reason for patients to start total carbohydrate restriction, even more important than weight loss. Safe initiation of total carbohydrate restriction in patients on medications requires significant monitoring and medication adjustments to decrease and eliminate the risk of hypoglycemia and hypotension. The healthcare team, including clinicians in primary care, nursing, pharmacy, and nutrition, need to be competent in adjusting or recognizing the need for adjustment of diabetes and antihypertensive medications to achieve safe and effective care. The most immediate and important adjustments are to insulin, sulfonylureas, SGLT2Is, blood pressure medications, and diuretics. Interdisciplinary care teams can individualize therapy while following the guidance above, which includes monitoring blood sugar and blood pressure closely, decreasing medications that can cause hypoglycemia and hypotension, evaluating blood sugar and blood pressure responses regularly, and open access communication with the team. Medical evaluation and practice for decades has focused almost exclusively on prescribing and intensifying medical therapy as chronic disease progresses. Our international team of clinician authors hopes for a day when medical education and practice will invest as much time, thought, and effort into safely deprescribing medications as they do in helping our patients restore health.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
Probably a good place to stop because the next section is type 1 diabetes.
And
Yeah.
it's so great that they've separated those out because so many people don't really know the difference. And it's really a misnomer to even call type 2 diabetes because it really isn't.
Yeah, I was surprised that this is even in this endocrine chapter because it's an autoimmune disease.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, but I guess they just decided to put it, and it does say that it results from an autoimmune destruction of the pancreatic cells. So I guess they had to decide what to put it in, and maybe putting it here
Made
because
more
there's
sense.
a lot
That's
of
where most people associate because they're both called diabetes.
there's also a lot of overlap in management too, because you're talking about managing insulin and blood sugar. And so there's definitely a lot of overlap when it comes to management.
Mhm.
Right.
So, you know, yeah, I guess maybe it does make sense to put it there. But it's so this next section has Neville Wellington as the one of the authors, and I know who he is now
Uh-huh.
because he's one of the instructors in the Nutrition Network.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I actually have listened to his lectures, so it'll be, it's like, cool, yeah, I know who he is now.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, all right. Well, so let's see. So next week, I think I'm clear to meet again. Are you guys clear?
Yeah, I should be good. I should be good.
Yep.
Awesome. And then the following week will be a traveling day for me. So it might be maybe we do one more week and then maybe just take a break till January. Is that okay?
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
that's probably what we would need to do because
Yeah.
I know that let's see that Tuesday would be the day before I'm sorry, the day before Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
So
Third.
yeah, I was gonna take off work because I'm gonna have people over because I'm making my famous chili and it's carnivore friendly chili.
Nice.
Well, I make two versions and I make a version that has beans, which I do not eat the beans. So like my son and me and my daughter-in-law do not eat the beans. My son will eat either version,
Yeah.
but then everybody else, like my dad and all these other people, they like the beans. So
Well, we're just my daughter and son-in-law and me are driving down to California to visit my sister and her
Nice.
family that's there. And yeah. And so her oldest son is carnivore and for
oh,
several months now. I think it's probably at least 4 months and doing it for weight loss. So we're going to be bringing Courtney Luna's cookbook and maybe making some of the stuff out of her cookbook. Last year, my attempt at making some additional types of foods for Thanksgiving was a dismal failure, but Courtney's recipes are a lot easier. So I've already made some of them, and they turn out pretty good.
mm,
Yeah.
And my Space Force son is coming. I wasn't expecting him. I work Christmas and New Year's. And so I wasn't expecting him. And things fell through with his Hawaii trip.
Okay.
And so he decided to come down here instead. So I get to spend some more time with him. And his nana is getting a bone marrow transplant next week at the Mayo Clinic in Phoenix. And so
Oh,
we spend Thanksgiving up there with her, and we're gonna go and spend some time before Christmas with her again.
yeah, good. Nice. Okay, so we will plan on meeting next Tuesday and then we will be on a break. We take breaks. So like, this is our study club. So we
that's
just
right. It's our
do it
club.
when
We'll break if we want to.
right. All right, very good. Well, I appreciate everybody who has joined us. Appreciate your activity in the chat, your feedback, your comments, your humor, all of that.
Love it.
You have an absolutely wonderful week and hopefully bring it on next week. Join us
Yep.
again. We'll dive into type 1 diabetes.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye,
Everybody
everybody.
have a great rest